When two sailors were looking for fish in the waters of the Spanish Sea, they accidentally found a human body caught in their fishing net. At first, they thought the man was dead. It turns out he's still alive. The sailors then brought him to the government. When they got there, an agent grabbed an ancient book from that man. It was an important notebook about eternal life from the Fountain of Youth. In London, people are chanting anti-piracy. They wish that the kingdom would immediately sentence the pirates to death. Who doesn't know this man? Jack Sparrow. He was with a friend and loyal crew member, Gibbs. In the horse carriage, Gibbs knew that the captain also wanted to find the legendary Fountain of Youth. He knew it because Jack had a map. The horse stopped. Captain Jack is intercepted. But as usual, he got away from the pursuit of London forces. When Jack was about to leave the bar, he knew there was someone who was imitating his appearance. Jack looks into a warehouse and found him. They fight, and their movements look exactly like each other. But the fight ended with a kiss. Who knows, the clone Jack Sparrow is actually his own ex-girlfriend, Angelica. The London army caught them. They both run away. This time, Jack didn't realize that he had fallen into Angelica's trap. On the other hand, Gibbs is taken hostage by Barbossa, a vicious captain, Jack's old enemy. Gibbs have stolen the map from Jack. To prevent himself from being executed, Gibbs then burned the map and said that he had kept it in his mind. Now Barbossa didn't have any other choice. He was forced to use Gibbs as a guide. Return to Jack's. Now he only became a lower-class crew on Angelica's ship. Even so, Jack was still not happy. He provoked the entire crew to mutiny. Jack also released a missionary from a ship's mast. His name is Philip. Unexpectedly, Blackbeard woke up from sleep. He is a cursed pirate who can control ships with a magic sword. And he is Angelica's father. After punishing the mutineers, Blackbeard planned to kill Jack that night too, but Angelica prevents him. Because Jack is still needed to reach the fountain. Barbossa, who is still on the cruise, has made the decision to go to the most feared destination. It's Mermaid waters. They are trying to catch the mermaid and harvest her tears, because that is the second ritual, which is required to go to the Fountain of Youth. The ship's crew had refused because they were scared. Some even jumped from the ship, rather than being forced to face the mermaid. Now, Blackbeard's ship that Jack and Angelica were on had already reached Whitecap Bay. The ship's crew cast fishing nets to catch the mermaids while some of the other crew went to lighthouse to light up the sea. And the rest are in the canoe as bait. The crew sings on the canoe with the intention of calling the mermaid. They were singing until they were almost sleepy. Suddenly all around them there was movement. Surprisingly, they saw a beautiful woman appear from the water and leaning on their boat. That's Mermaid, a mythical sea-dwelling creature they've been waiting for. The mermaid calls her flocks until they surrounded the boat. And unexpectedly, when angry, the mermaid's face, which was originally innocent, now turned like a devil. Now, they are fighting humans like angry demons. The sailors beat and tricked them into the traps they had prepared. A flock of mermaids know it and shoot a kind of web to prey on humans. Mermaids are very strong. Jack made a plan. He burned and tore down the lighthouse. The lighthouse collapsed and chased the mermaids away, but one was trapped between the rocks. Philip wants to catch her. Then he feels sorry for her and plans to let her go. But his intention was thwarted by Blackbeard. They catch that mermaid and lock her up. Before dawn, Barbossa's team arrived at Whitecap, where they found mermaid bodies lying on the sand. But strangely, from a distance, the ship and their crew are being brutally devoured and drowned. Jack and Blackbeard's team continued their journey. They have put the mermaid into the glass tank and filled with water. While Jack and Philip talking to each other, Philip noticed the mermaid and realized that she needed not only water to breathe, but also air. Philip snatched a sword from a guard, then pry off the glass lid. Even when the sword revoked, he wedged it with his Bible. They continued walking through the forest. Accidentally, the teen tripped and broke the glass tank, releasing the mermaids out. What a surprise! The mermaid turned out to have legs when she fell on the ground. Philip immediately covered her body with his clothes. Blackbeard asked the mermaids to walk. But she couldn't. She wasn't used to using her feet. Philip then carried her and gave the mermaid's name of Serena. The night comes. Jack has arrived at an old ship which is said to house silver chalices, the pair of cups they need to hold water from the fountain of youth. Jack was surprised because Barbossa was also there. To maintain the balance of the ship, they don't fight and try to open the chest together. Unfortunately, the chalices have been replaced with a pair of stones. The Spanish army had preceded them. They rushed to the next place. Jack met again with Gibbs. In the wilderness, Blackbeard and the ship's crew have found a pool to tie mermaids. This is part of the ritual they have to do to harvest mermaid tears. Serena the mermaid was tied there. Philip still forbade them and tried to protect her. Looks like this missionary has fallen in love with mermaids. Even if forced in any way, Serena still didn't shed her tears. She didn't cry. Jack, who had allied himself with Barbossa, saw a pair of chalices from the hands of the Spanish soldiers. Jack then stole it. Philip, who had been drugged by Blackbeard, was now awake. He immediately untied the mermaid while apologizing and saying that he loved her very much. Serena is feeling touched and her tears fell. Philip didn't know anything. It was Angelica's idea. Now they managed to get the mermaid's teardrops. Jack handed the two chalices to Blackbeard and continued on to the location of the Fountain of Youth. Inside a cave, Jack cast a spell on either side of the silver chalices, and something happened. Water flows down the ceiling of the cave magically. Jack enters first, and then is followed by Blackbeard's men. They had arrived at the Fountain of Youth they had been looking for. Evidently, Barbossa and his troops had caught up with them, and a big battle ensued. Jack and Angelica fight over the ampule filled with mermaid tears, while the missionary leaves the cave to meet Serena. This time, it seemed like the mermaid didn't trust Philip anymore. She chose to leave. While the fight was going on, a Spanish government soldier unfurls the flag and claims the area. The Spanish soldiers took the chalices, smashed them and threw them into the pond. They're tearing the place apart. Barbossa took the chance. He stabbed Blackbeard with a poisoned sword. Angelica, who wanted to save her father, was also poisoned by Barbossa's sword. Now, Angelica and her father are dying. While Jack was looking for the chalices, Mermaid appeared and handed them to Jack. Serena doesn't want her tears were in vain. Jack immediately collects the fountain drops with chalices. One of the glasses he mixed with mermaid tears, while the other glass was not. The glass filled with tears will be drunk by people who want to live forever, while the other one is for people who will be sacrificed. Jack gave the chance to Angelica and Blackbeard to choose, while reminding, if the first chalice will give eternal life, while the second one will be deadly. Blackbeard was so lustful to live forever and choose the first chalice without thinking about Angelica's fate. Now Angelica is forced to drink from the second chalice and make sacrifices to give eternal life to her father. Jack Sparrow is damn cool. He absolutely has swapped a pair of chalices. Angelica drank from a cup filled with mermaid tears, while her father did not. Blackbeard then sensed his sacrifice. His flesh was torn to pieces by the whirlpool. Jack knows that Angelica's father is a devil, but Angelica's mistakes are still forgivable. She deserved to live forever. The missionary is still faithfully waiting. Serena the mermaid arrived and forgave him. As the legend says, a mermaid's kiss can make people breathe and live underwater. This time Philip really got it. And he deserves it because of the kindness he has done so far. Now Angelica can live forever. But because Jack was still upset, he took her to an island and abandoned her there. Finally, Jack and Gibbs found their ship back and started their adventure again. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.